Hey YouTubers, Rich from 2RC Productions here, and look at we got the Lunchbox from Tamiya. Long time coming. I've been looking at this car since I was a kid, along with many other Tamiya cars, but the one that I ended up getting when I was a kid was the Tamiya Hornet. After staring at pictures of it for about 2 years, my dad helped me out buying one. I put money in it, my dad put money in it, ended up walking away. It probably costed us about $350. By the time you get your radio and battery and charger and kit and accessories and batteries for the radio. So it was a very costly thing when you could go into the toy store and buy something for $20 and now you're dropping $350. It had to be justified. My dad wasn't going along with it right away until he knew that I was serious about it and it wasn't just a whim. So he ended up helping me get it. And I had that Hornet and I never looked back, man. Great times growing up playing with that Hornet. And I used that thing for years, and that was my number one and only toy for a long time. And buddies had them and we used to go out all the time. I took it everywhere and we just had a blast with them. So we don't always have this option of having toys re-released when you're older. So, they quit making these things and I got away from it, and got into the more higher tech stuff that was coming out. They were coming out with a lot of neat stuff over the years and better things, and technology wise, the new thing, you wanted the new thing. And Tamiya was kind of forgotten about. I also had a Super Champ, which my dad bought. And when he got bored with it, I took that over. And then later on, I bought a Wild Willie. And I don't have the Wild Willie in the collection no more, or the Super Champ. But I still have my Hornet with all the original running gear. Still have the mechanical speed controller on it, and everything works. It needs a little bit of work, but still works great. And when these were re-released, I was like, man, that's incredible. They re-released all the original Tamiya vehicles, and I kept wanting to get one, but then when I saw they were released and they were sticking around for a while, I thought, I got time. I can always find one. Or worst case, I'll buy a vintage one on eBay and pay out of the nose, which I wouldn't want to do. But what I did was I ordered the Lunchbox. And my hopes is to build this with Ryan. He's going to build this with me, and my hopes is that he really takes something from it. It's definitely different when you build the kit from scratch. You buy it ready to run, chances are you're going to have to tear it down because something's going to break and you'll have to familiarize yourself with it. But there's nothing quite like opening a box with a gazillion parts in there and going through the steps and putting it all together and painting it and personalizing it to your own. And then when you're done and you fire it up for the first time, there's nothing quite like it. As a kid, it was unbelievable when I put my Hornet together and went out on the street for the first time and ran it. I mean, there was nothing like it at that time. Nothing is fast. Nothing is powerful. Just awesome stuff, man, to grow up with. So I'm very thrilled that they came out with these again. And the other thing about this truck, it always caught our eye. My dad and I would go into the hobby shop, and it always caught our eye because it was a Dodge van. And growing up, I had Mopars around me and I had Fords around me. My dad and my uncle, diehard Mopar guys. My other uncle, God rest his soul, he passed away some years ago. He was a diehard Mopar guy, and my other uncle was a Ford guy. So I was exposed to these cars growing up, and when the Dodge came out, it was, oh man, it's a Dodge van, cool, Just never got it, and I actually have never seen a Lunchbox in real life. I didn't know anybody that had one, and I've never seen one out of the box till I unboxed this. It'll be the first time that I hold one in my hand, so I ordered this from a local hobby shop. It was $127 it cost me with tax. I know if I went on Tower Hobbies, I'd get it a little cheaper. I probably could have got it for $90 with their discounts or something, but I like supporting the local hobby shops. I also like Tower Hobbies. I do buy some things from there. They are fantastic. Tower is great. Horizon is good. They both have excellent support, but I like to support the local business when I can. So, all right, we're going to get on to the unboxing here. And I'm going to open this up. I'm not going to waste time taking everything apart. I'll have it open so I can show you all the parts. All right, YouTubers. Here is the contents of the Tamiya 1/12 scale Lunchbox kit. Ooh, man. There it is. There it is right there, man. That's the Dodge van, the old 70s Dodge van right there. This thing is cool, man. Very cool. I love the hard bodies on these things. No comparison to the clear bodies. These things, they just have so much detail and you can do so much with them. So there's the body. Gonna put a custom paint job on that for sure. This is gonna be my 2RC Productions vehicle. And I'm not going to drive it all that much. I'm not going to bash it up too bad because I'm going to put some work into it. I'm going to put some guys in there. I'm going to put lights in the cab. I'm going to put LEDs on it. I'm going to put a custom paint job. And I'm having 2RC Productions decals made. So this is going to be like my channel billboard vehicle. There's the body. Here's the chassis. Common Tamiya plastic chassis, which very strong. Not much to it, you know, just basic plastic, but strong. I saw guys were shoring up the front end a little bit. There's a little bit of movement in the shock towers, but for what I'm doing and the weight of this vehicle, it's not a problem. I'm not going to modify this at all mechanically. It's going to stay stock. The only thing I'm going to do is modify the outside. We have the instruction manual, which is common with Tamiya vehicles also. Black and white, but very nice, very informative, very easy to read, directions. If anybody is thinking about doing a kit for the first time, you cannot go wrong with Tamiya. Fantastic, very easy. You go through step by step, pictures, you know, everything is to actual size. They give you the pictures where you can match up your screw sizes, so very cool. Here's the other parts tree. Here is the 2 gearbox halves, which looks exactly like the Tamiya Hornet. So 2 halves there. We got our chrome tree with front and rear bumpers and side pipes and side bars. And I am not leaving all this chrome. I think myself with too much chrome like that, it looks kind of cheesy. I am definitely going to be painting some of this stuff. So I'm going to have to remove this chrome, sand some of the stuff down. Here's the, let me show you this real quick too. This bumper now, and I know obviously it didn't in the 80s, it comes with light buckets built into the front bumper. So you can put your little bracket there and mount your LED. So that's very cool. Wanted to make sure I showed you that. Comes with an electronic speed controller now, which obviously in the 80s it did not. It came with a mechanical speed controller. So you have one less servo in the vehicle because you're not putting a servo mount for the speed controller. I actually have a speed controller. For those of you who are not familiar with the mechanical speed controller, I actually have 2 of them in my parts right now. One of them is in my Hornet, which is still used. This is one, a Kyosho made one. And to show you what this is, you got a ceramic resistor, you got your wiring, you got to power this. And basically what happened was you hook a servo up to this and it would move back and forth, forward, reverse, middle was neutral. So, show you that. So you don't have that anymore, and you don't have a servo to power to move it. So that's that. Here is the wheels. They come yellow. They will not stay yellow, folks. I am going to be painting them. I do not like the yellow. You have your standard Tamiya bumper, very sturdy, does the job. Don't know if I'm going to use the bumper. If I do use the bumper, I will be modifying it, but the fact that I'm not going to drive this thing real hard, I might not even put it on. If it looks better without it, I'll probably leave it off. Got some other parts trees here, some suspension parts. You got your control arms. Very similar to the Tamiya Hornet stuff. Looks like the same parts. Got your servo savers there. Got your other parts tree here. Rear suspension parts, chassis components. Really not a ton of parts here, folks. This looks like a pretty easy build as far as kits go. You got your windshield. They give you a tinted windshield, which I will be putting figures in there. Like I said, I'm going to put probably 2 guide figures. I'm going to build an enclosure in there and then put a light on the inside so when it's driving, you'll see the guys driving in there. Here is the tires. Comes with a V-tread. Rubber tires are soft. They're grippy. Not as big as I thought they would be. I actually thought they would be a little bit bigger, but still cool. We got the essential box here with all the gears, and there's your 4-way wrench, some double face tape, some heat shrink tubing, looks like some grease. So you got all those parts in there. Little bag. The Mabuchi 540 motor. Back in the day, it was called the RS 540S. I don't know if they still give it that name, or it's just 540, or if it's just RS 540. I don't know. But I did notice the Mabuchi was always made in Japan. It is made in China now. It's stamped right on the can, which leads me to believe that the Tamiya kit might be made in China now. They were always made in Japan, and I hope they still are made in Japan. But if anybody has that information out there, please let me know. Shoot me a comment. Let me know where Tamiya is made now. I'm assuming China. Tamiya has a great way of labeling all their parts. Bag A, Bag B. Makes it very simple when you're looking for this stuff. So usually what I do is I crack them out and I put them in separate little compartments or bowls with the tag on them so I know what I'm grabbing. They have a great way of doing that labeling. See, D and C, all labeled. You got your metal parts in here. You've got some shafts there, springs. Looks like some front end parts. Got their wheelie bar, all metal, so that's pretty cool. And then your basic Tamiya gear set. That's it, man. This is every gear that goes in that gearbox. You see there's not too much to it. You throw a little grease on there. Back in the day, I used to use WD-40. They have a little port there, and I'd spray WD-40 in there every so often and lube up the gears, and never had a problem. So that's it for parts. Move this out of the way, and then last but not least, we have the decal sheet, which I gotta tell you, folks, I will not be using the decal sheet. Nothing against it. If anybody likes it, to each their own. The Lunchbox is pretty cool, but the Vanessas and the van with the girl sticking out with the orange Thunderbolts with the yellow wheels, not digging it. Not digging it at all. So I am going to use probably the Tamiya stickers, and the rest of this will get filed in the box. I want to show you that. And then last but not least, the warning sheet. The warning sheet to make sure you don't do anything stupid like take your battery or your motor and stick it in your blender and turn the switch on, or decide to throw your battery in the microwave oven or something. And I was kind of looking through this. I always look through this stuff. There's all different languages on here. In the English one, they got 14 steps, and there was one on here that was kind of funny. If I can find it here relatively quick. Basically, they were talking about electrical parts, overcharging, vehicle switch on, do not touch anything sharp, which we know that. I can't seem to find it right now, but basically what it tells you is it's telling you to be careful and stuff, and then it says, do not drive this car in a thunderstorm. Now, I don't know what they think. Maybe there's people out there that are just that stupid, folks. I can't see it, but I guess if they're putting it in there, somebody had to do some dumb things. I'm not saying that running a thunderstorm is dumb, but the fact, you know, to each their own. Some guys like running in extreme conditions, and obviously if it's raining a little bit and you got a waterproof car, you might want to run it. But the way they describe it in here is like torrential thunderstorms, lightning bolts coming down, wind and all that. And I myself would think that the person would be able to make that judgment when he looks outside and sees lightning bolts coming down and 40-mile-an-hour winds and everything else, that maybe it's not a good time to run my RC car out there. But I just thought it was kind of funny. You know how it is. They put all these warnings like we're complete idiots and, you know, we have no idea. Don't jam a knife into your finger. It might cut you. I mean, ridiculous. So anyway, folks, here is the Tamiya kit. This will be one video, and then I will be doing follow-up videos through the build and the final product. So till next time, Rich here from 2RC Productions. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, comment as always. And as always, I appreciate your feedback, and I love your support watching the videos and thumbs up, and I thank all my subscribers. So till next time, Rich out.